Hello, and welcome to all who have joined us for our online virtual Christmas concert. It's been a great pleasure putting this concert together at my computer, and I hope that you will all enjoy it. The concert you are about to watch has been created by putting together recordings of individual choir members made in their own homes. I've then merged these together using the software DaVinci Resolve to produce what has come to be known during these unusual and challenging times as a virtual choir. Being something most choir members have never done before, this has for the most part been outside of their comfort zone. Firstly, in terms of singing alone in a small acoustically dry room, and secondly, in terms of mastering use of the required technology. This includes using earphones to listen to the backing track I made for them, then using phones, tablets, laptops or computers to record themselves singing along, then using the various methods of getting their video files to me so that I was able to include them in the concert you now watch. I would just like to say how grateful I am to the choir members for overcoming their shyness of singing on their own and persevering with the technology in order to make all of this possible. Also, many thanks to the accompanists of the Angrove singers, Jenny Hesford, and the accompanist of Stokesley Choral Society, Lada Kazanovic, who in the same way have videoed themselves and you will see and hear playing in this performance. And now on to our first 4 items. First, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. This is a very well-known carol. Why not sing along if you know it well enough? The original hymn text was written by Charles Wesley in 1739 and started, "Hark how all the welkin rings," but has since been modernised to the version most are familiar with today. Then you will hear Infant Holy, Infant Lowly, which is a traditional Polish carol which was first translated into English in 1920 by Edith Margaret Gellibrand Reed, but the carol itself is thought to date as early as the 13th century. A Great and Mighty Wonder, although using the tune from the carol of German origin, Es ist eine Rose entsprungen, is set here to English words in an upbeat dance-like fashion, which I hope you'll enjoy. Last in this group is something totally different. Rowan Hill will perform While Shepherds Watch Their Flocks by Night, in a charming and upbeat setting by the English folk singer and songwriter Kate Rusby, otherwise known as the Barnsley Nightingale.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and saints praise.
Shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground. The angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. Fear not, said he, for mighty dread hath seized the troubled minds. Glad tidings of great joy I bring to you and all mankind. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. To you in David's town this day is born of David's line the Saviour who is Christ the Lord, and this shall be the sign. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. All glory be to God on high, and to the earth be peace. Goodwill henceforth from them to men begin and never cease. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells. While shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down, and glory shone around. Sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells, they cheer us on our heavenly way, sweet chiming bells.
Greetings everyone, thank you for being with us. I'm Carol Morgan, chairman of the Angrove Singers in Great Ayton. I joined the already long established choir in 1978, so my term time Thursday evenings have been very special ever since, and we all miss them sadly for the fun and fellowship as well as the music and the joy of singing together. We usually give 3 concerts a year, giving proceeds to charities, and at Christmas we have increasingly been invited to take our carol singing to a local hospital, a hospice, and our local National Trust property, Ormsby Hall. None of this has been possible this year, of course, so Jeremy's suggestion for us to produce this virtual concert instead was compensation for some pleasures that we have lost this year. Daunting though it has been for Jeremy, being a magical musician, as another choir member called him, for producing the final result, and daunting for those of us who grew up with television as a novelty, and the only phone with a coin box attached in a kiosk round the corner with a queue already waiting. I now have the honour to introduce the next group of carols in our concert. First, the Coventry Carol, dating from the mid-1500s, when it formed part of a traditional mystery play performed in Coventry. The earliest known text dated March 1534. It refers to King Herod ordering the slaughter of the babies, hoping to rid himself of the future rival king he'd been warned about by the visit of the 3 wise men, his decree causing unimaginable distress to the mothers of all the youngest babies. This is followed by a carol accompanied by our delightful Jenny, Good King Wenceslas. It praises a king in Bohemia who became a legend for his kindness, generosity, and awareness of the needs of others, a very apt message for these present times. Thirdly, we sing The Shepherd's Farewell, again accompanied by Jenny, with words by Paul England set to the beautiful, moving music written by French composer Hector Berlioz. It pictures the shepherds bidding farewell to the baby Jesus as his parents leave Bethlehem to find sanctuary for him in Egypt, escaping King Herod's cruelty.
Underneath the mountain, right
Welcome and thanks for joining us for our joint Christmas concert. I'm John Chandler, currently Chairman of Stokesley District Choral Society. Next year, 2021, will mark our 50th anniversary and also Jeremy's 10th year as our conductor and musical director. Plans for celebration are currently on hold, but I am hopeful that we will be able to start singing again and meeting again safely from the middle of next year. Please keep an eye on our website if you're interested in joining us and wish to sing. Before moving on to tell you about the content of the next set, I'd like to thank Jeremy for his hard work over the last 10 years and also particularly for his hard work in putting together tonight's concert. We usually stage 3 varied concerts each year involving local soloists and musicians, and whenever possible a local primary school, particularly at Christmas. Sadly, this has not been possible during 2020 because of the pandemic. This next set starts with a seasonal poem based on Goldilocks, written and read by a stalwart of previous Angrove choir concerts, Jan Snowden. This will be followed by O Little One Sweet, to an old German tune harmonised by J.S. Bach and with English words by Percy Dearmer. We will follow this with a traditional Away in a Manger, and finally we'll be treated to a seasonal solo by Lada Kazanovic, our regular accompanist, who has taken an arrangement of part of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite. Once again, many thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a safe and happy Christmas and New Year.
Christmas is traditionally the season for pantomimes, and as there'll be few and far between this year, I thought this one might make up for the lack of them. It's Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but not necessarily as we've always known it. The book with this famous wicked little tale should never have been put on sale. It is a mystery to me why loving parents cannot see that this is actually a book about a brazen little crook. Had I the chance, I wouldn't fail to clap young Goldilocks in jail. Now just imagine how you'd feel if you had cooked a lovely meal, delicious porridge steaming hot, fresh coffee in the coffee pot, with maybe toast and marmalade, the table beautifully laid, one place for you and one for Dad, another for your little lad. Then Dad cries, golly gosh, gee whiz, oh dear, how hot this porridge is. Let's take a walk along the street until it's cool enough to eat. He adds, an early morning stroll is good for people on the whole. It makes your appetite improve. It also helps to keep you on the move. No proper wife would dare to question such a sensible suggestion, above all not at breakfast time, when men are seldom in their prime. No sooner are you down the road than Goldilocks, that little toad, that nosy, thieving little louse, comes sneaking in your empty house. She looks around. She quickly notes 3 bowls brimful of porridge oats, and while still standing on her feet, she grabs a spoon and starts to eat. I say again, how would you feel if you had made this lovely meal and some delinquent little tot broke in and gobbled up the lot? But wait, that's not the worst of it. Now comes the most distressing bit. You are, of course, a house-proud wife, and all your happy married life you have collected lovely things like gilded cherubs wearing wings and furniture by Chippendale, bought at some famous auction sale. But your most special, valued treasure, the piece that gives you endless pleasure, is one small children's dining chair, Elizabethan, very rare. It is in fact your joy and pride, passed down to you on Grandma's side. But Goldilocks, like many freaks, does not appreciate antiques. She doesn't care, she doesn't mind, and now she plonks her large behind upon this dainty, precious chair, and crunch, it breaks beyond repair. A nice girl would exclaim, "Oh dear, oh heavens, what a shame!" Not Goldie. She begins to swear. She bellows, "What a silly chair!" You'd think that they'd have a better seat for people who come to eat. You'd think by now this little skunk would have the sense to do a bunk. But no, I very much regret she hasn't nearly finished yet. Deciding she would like a rest, she says, "Let's see which bed is best." Upstairs she goes and tries all three. Here comes the next catastrophe. Most educated people choose to rid themselves of socks and shoes before they clamber into bed. But Goldie didn't give a shred. Her filthy shoes were thick with grime and mud and mush and slush and slime. I say once more, what would you think if all this horrid dirt and stink was smeared upon your eiderdown by this revolting little clown? The famous story has no clues to show the girl removed her shoes. Oh, what a tale of crime on crime. Let's check it for the second time. Crime 1, the prosecution's case. She breaks and enters someone's place. Crime 2, the prosecutor notes she steals a bowl of porridge oats. Crime 3, she breaks a precious chair belonging to the baby bear. Crime 4, she smears each spotless sheet with filthy message from her feet. A judge would say, without a blink, 10 years hard labour in the clink. But in the book, as you will see, the little beast gets off scot-free. Tiny children near and far shout, "Goody, goody! Hooray, hurrah! Poor darling Goldilocks," they say. "Thank goodness that she got away." Myself, I think I'd rather send young Goldie to a sticky end. "Oh, Daddy," cried the baby bear, "my porridge is gone. It isn't fair." "Then go upstairs," the big bear said. "Your porridge is upon the bed. But as it's inside Mademoiselle, you'll have to eat her up as well."
Hi, I'm Liz. I sing in 2 of the 3 choirs who've recorded this concert, and I'm introducing the 3rd set of carols. The first one is a real old traditional one, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. It features in Charles Dickens's Christmas Carol, where a carol singer comes and knocks on Scrooge's door and attempts to sing this very carol to him. Scrooge throws a ruler at him and the carol singer has to run for it. The second one is Nativity Carol. This is a lovely carol, very lyrical, beautiful, and it's written by the very prolific composer of Christmas carols, John Rutter. And no Christmas carol concert would be complete without a bit of John Rutter. And we're accompanied in this by Lada Kazanovic. The third carol is Tortures. Now this was written for children, and I do actually remember singing this at school in the 1960s, I'm afraid. The composer was a chap called John Joubert, and although he was born in South Africa, he lived for over 50 years in Birmingham and taught music at the universities of Birmingham and Hull. And he only died last year, so that's quite a recent carol. And the fourth slot is Jeremy, our musical director, playing his cello and accompanying himself on the piano in Winter Wonderland. He's very versatile, is Jeremy, and in fact without him this concert would not have existed. There is a deliberate mistake that he's purposely put in there for you, you just have to spot it.
God rest you, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. For Jesus Christ our Saviour was born upon this day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. O tidings of comfort and joy, and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy. From God our Heavenly Father, a blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same, how that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. O tidings of comfort and joy, and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy. The shepherds at those tidings rejoiced much in mind, and left their flocks a-feeding in tempest, storm, and wind, and went to Bethlehem straightway this blessed babe to find. O tidings of comfort and joy, and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy. But when to Bethlehem they came, where at this infant lay, they found him in a manger, where oxen feed on hay. His mother Mary kneeling unto the Lord did pray. O tidings of comfort and joy, and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy. Now
now come to the last two items of our virtual concert. Ding Dong Merrily on High and O Come All Ye Faithful. They are both very well known and need little introduction. If you know them well enough, why not have a sing-along? I would like to thank all the choir committee members for everything they have done behind the scenes to make this virtual concert possible. Thanks once again to our talented accompanists, Jenny and Lada, and thanks to you all for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed our concert, and I wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Ding dong,